subject to Luckily, Toastmasters in their infinite wisdom has provided a manual. To help ease people into this subject, the manual's projects only call for the speaker to do something wildly different than the competent communicator does. There are 3 parts to these projects. First, Jeremy Udell will tell us a little bit about the cold call process. Second, he will role play a cold call situation with a fantastic team player, Denise Ward. Finally, he will hold a short question and answer session looking for feedback on the role play. Let's get to it, shall we? Here's Jeremy.
It's her first time. She's doing great though. You may be asking yourself, did Jeremy bring a toaster oven with him again? Those of you who are will remember that my first presentation out of this manual required me to sell an inexpensive object to someone. In that situation, I didn't do so well, but don't worry so much about that because I'm going to do great today. Today's project requires me to sell something a lot more expensive, so I didn't bring the toaster oven. Also today, we're going to be talking about the cold call process, but that doesn't necessarily mean, in fact in this case it doesn't mean talking on the phone. In this situation that you'll be seeing today, you have to assume that I already made some sort of phone call, or a representative of my company did, and set up an appointment, which by the way is only the hardest part of this entire process, but we're going to go on faith and say, wow, somehow that magically happened and this person agreed to meet with me. It's still a much harder process than necessarily selling an inexpensive product, and in the last project, Project 1, you'll remember I was working in the store that Mitch came into to buy something from. So my credibility was a lot higher because I worked in the store. So in this process, I'm going to be selling something much more expensive, which people generally are a lot more wary about being inveigled into something very expensive. And at the same time, I'm also going to have to build my credibility, because again, if I'm going to sell something expensive, I need to really show that I can help and that my product or service can help. So to do that, watch for 3 things today. The 3 things will be, I'm going to be a resource. What does that mean? It means that I'm going to know something about the company, about their industry, about their needs right off the bat. Maybe even know specifically what they're looking to do. 2, I'm going to question with care. If I go in there and start saying, I can save you thousands of dollars right away, how would you like that? Sounds a little bit salesy, ShamWow. I mean, I don't think we need to be doing that, especially in a process like this. It feels a little bit like inveigling again. I want to work with them and try to come forward to a place that meets their needs in a much more subtle way. Lastly, I'm going to answer objections, and ideally I'm going to do that through the initial process of questions and answers so that there are no objections. But in the possibility that there are, answer those objections by either restating what I already said and how that would answer that objection, showing more information that I hadn't yet given, or honestly saying I can't meet that objection, but I still believe I can meet your needs generally, or say let's part our separate ways and go as friends. So watch for that today, and now I'm going to bring up Denise. Denise works for, actually she is the owner and CEO of Friendly Movers today. I am Jeremy, go figure. I am a sales rep for Website Engineers, which gives you a little bit of insight into what I might be selling today. I have an appointment with Denise, as I said before. Good morning, Denise. Thank you so much for meeting with me today. I really appreciate it.
You're quite welcome, Jeremy. I really wanted to take this appointment with you.
Yeah, I was so glad to be able to make it on time, what with the weather and everything. Have you had to deal with that at all? My roof started to leak last night.
Oh gosh, yes. We're in the moving industry, and when it rains, it pours in Florida. Yes, I understand.
It really does, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I really appreciate it, like I said. I wanted to ask you, how did you come to set up the website you currently have?
I'm fairly knowledgeable about setting up websites. I have friends, I'm a member of Toastmasters, and they have helped me kind of set up a website. It's a local business, and we have contact information, a little bio about me. We have information about where the area that we serve, just basic information at this time.
Are you able to take orders off of that website at all?
We are able to take orders. We have a form that the potential client fills out on an email, sends it in to us, and then I have someone that monitors that email all the time, and they have to either call or email that person back, and they spend about half their time doing that.
Okay, so you have a staff person who half of their time right now is already committed to that.
Yes, that is correct.
I see, I see. And I also saw on your news page on your website, because I was looking at it, I saw that you're expanding into national moves, which must be really exciting for you. Why did you decide to expand?
Surprisingly, our business is good. We do have improvements in the moving industry. We want to get more trucks. We have the money to buy more trucks. We see there's a need for going nationally, and we want to go for it.
That's great. That's really great. Well, I assume there'll probably be some more orders coming in now that you have added this new segment of national moves. Do you have the capability right now? Do you think, how do you plan on handling the extra work that you figure will come in?
Jeremy, I think that's an excellent question, and that's why I did want to take your appointment today, because this one person is swamped, and they can only do their work in the business, not from home. I mean, if I want to do part of it, I have no access from home. So we are trying to go into a bigger area with a small website.
Mm-hmm. Would you find it valuable at all if your website was able to actually give the full quote by itself without having to have the person call in the first place just to give a quote? Or would that possibly save her some time, do you think?
I think that would be an excellent situation for us.
Yeah.
Because with all the extra orders, she would not be able to meet all the demands, and we would lose customers.
I see. I see. Yeah, that would be really unfortunate to expand only to lose customers.
Yes.
Yeah. How about your software, your management software, for once somebody's in the process of sales from proposal all the way to finishing the job? Do you have a software system that you handle that handles that kind of workload for you?
I would say that it's barely adequate at this time, just barely adequate. I really don't believe it.
So if you could have a website that also helps work with that solution, for instance, maybe gave you some access from home, and maybe also your staff that would require some access from home to be able to update records and things and check on statuses. Also maybe add some extra bells and whistles you didn't have before, as well as take orders and give quotes off the website. That'd be valuable to you on some level?
I would say that that would be very valuable to me, yes.
So my next question would be, who do I talk to about writing a proposal if I was going to do it? You don't have a purchasing agent or someone?
I would be sitting in with the purchasing agent,
Okay.
so yes.
So is there any other information I can answer for you about what we can do? What we're planning on doing is setting up a website that can obviously take some orders online. It's going to be more filled out. It may specify different states that you work through, and it will obviously provide quotes automatically, and it will also take orders, maybe even take a down payment for you if you would like. And you can also attach a tracking software behind it so that you can log in and see that. If I put a proposal like that together for you, would that be something you want to see?
Oh yes, I'd really like to see it, but I'm wondering about cost.
Cost. Yes. Generally, the cost for these types of things can run anywhere from as little as maybe $5,000 to as much as $20,000, depending on all the bells and whistles we include. But I would put together a proposal with 3 different levels of things you could look at. And we also have some financing options, so you wouldn't necessarily have to put all that cash up front, because I know in your business you probably finance your trucks, you're used to paying things monthly, so you might find it valuable to pay that website over time as opposed to have
Yes.
to come up with the cash.
Yes, definitely. I think over time would be the way that we would approach it. I would be willing, very willing, to sit down with you and to hear your proposal with my purchasing agent. Very interested.
Great. I'm going to go back to my office right now and work it out to you, and I will email it over to you within the next day or so.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you so much for your time,
Thank
Denise.
you.
Denise, actually, if you wouldn't mind staying up, well, or you can stand from your seat either way, but actually the questions and answers will go to both of us. And Denise, what did you think yourself about the process we just went through? Obviously, I gave you a role to fill. Do you feel like to the person you were, I was addressing your needs? Was I going through it in a way that made the most sense to you?
Yeah, yes, he was definitely making my needs, meeting them. He was looking straight in the eye. I didn't find any slipperiness with him. He was dressed for success. He did answer my questions. He thought of things that I didn't think of and addressed those. So it was a very good presentation.
Are there any questions or comments from the audience about what you saw today, what you thought I could have done better, what you thought you liked specifically? Michelle?
I thought you did a great job of hitting all the points in the sales process. The only thing I would change is you don't email proposals. You'll have a much higher closing ratio if you meet with the person face to face and the purchasing agent. That way they can ask you questions at that time.
Excellent feedback. Excellent feedback. I completely agree. And as a person who works in sales, I don't email proposals. And when people want me to email it to them, I say I'd much rather meet with you in person so I can answer questions. But you're right. I just to close it went with that, and it was silly. Yes, Sue.
Being a guest, you had me totally going into this conversation. You had my one question that Denise was going to ask, or maybe didn't know to ask, was there edit capability on that? Like I said, as an observer, I'm going, oh, I want to ask this question.
Okay. Well, I don't know the answer to that because I actually don't sell websites, if that's what you were asking. I assume that there is a lot of customization within websites.
I do, so with that type of site, yes.
Okay, good. So if you're looking for a website, now you know who to talk to in your club. Good. Mitch.
I think though, there is one part that I didn't see there, which is this your first website? Have you done this type of thing before? Do you have an example that you can show her? Let me show you this other site that we did for a similar client.
That's a really good idea. They should have said that. Credentialized myself and what we do. That would have been a good at least 30 seconds. By the way, here's a couple of the sites we do. Here's how long we've been in business. I work for Website Engineers. We have a track record. Blah, blah, blah. Or if I didn't, I was working in my mind for a company that did have a long track record. But as you said, if I'm new and I'm calling myself Website Engineers, then I would also want to say that this is my first website, but here's my education and why I think I can do a good job for you. The yellow light's on. I don't want to hit the red because last time I went so far over. I really appreciate everyone's time. I really enjoyed doing this for y'all. And thank you once again for Denise. Big round of applause for Denise.